If you're seeing this video right now, it probably feels like you're failing at life. Like no matter how hard you try, things keep slipping through your fingers. But don't panic. You're not failing and nothing is wrong with you. What you're experiencing is something much deeper. The universe is forcing a change because your soul can no longer survive the same cycle, the same lessons, the same pain dressed in different forms. Before we dive deeper, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because your evolution is about to accelerate and you don't want to miss a single insight. When life starts breaking routines, draining your energy, and removing what once felt stable, it's not punishment. It's preparation. This moment feels heavy because it's meant to wake you up, not break you down. And once you understand why this is happening, everything will start to make sense. Life repeats lessons not to punish you, but because something inside you hasn't fully shifted yet. Most people think they're stuck because they're unlucky, cursed, or doing something wrong. But repetition is actually a sign of importance. The universe only repeats what you're meant to master. Every cycle you find yourself in, the same emotional pain, the same type of relationship, the same disappointments, carries a message. At first, life whispers. It shows you gently. A small warning, a quiet discomfort, a feeling that something isn't right. But when those whispers are ignored, life raises its voice. You may notice patterns like this. You keep choosing people who can't meet you emotionally. You keep chasing goals that drain you instead of fulfill you. You keep shrinking yourself to keep peace. Each time it hurts, but not enough to make you leave. So the lesson returns stronger. This is how the soul learns, not through logic, but through experience. Your mind wants comfort and familiarity, even when familiarity hurts. The soul, however, wants growth. And when the mind keeps choosing what's known, the soul steps in and says, "Enough." That's when life starts to feel heavier. That's when things that once worked suddenly stop working. You may feel restless, disconnected, emotionally exhausted. Things that used to excite you feel empty now. This isn't depression, it's evolution. It's the moment where your old identity can no longer carry you forward. The universe repeats lessons until the cost of staying the same becomes greater than the fear of change. And when that tipping point arrives, life doesn't ask for permission. It forces your hand. It removes people, collapses structures. It disrupts plans. Not because you're weak, but because you're ready. This is the part most people misunderstand. They think breakdown means failure. But in spiritual truth, breakdown often means breakthrough trying to happen. The repetition you're experiencing is proof that you're close to the exit. The discomfort is not random, it's directional. Life is guiding you away from who you were, toward who you can no longer avoid becoming. And once you see the pattern clearly, the lesson begins to loosen its grip. Right before a major shift, life often feels like it's collapsing all at once. Relationships strain, motivation disappears, plans fall through. You start questioning yourself, your choices, even your worth. This is the stage that creates the most fear because it feels like you're losing control. But what's actually happening is something far more precise. Your old life was built on an older version of you, beliefs, coping mechanisms, and identities that once helped you survive. Over time, those structures became too small for who you're becoming. When growth outpaces structure, tension builds. And eventually, something has to give. Life doesn't tear things down randomly. It removes what no longer matches your frequency. That's why things that once felt meant for you suddenly feel heavy, forced, or empty. You're not losing alignment, you're outgrowing it. This phase feels brutal because it attacks your sense of certainty. The ego wants reassurance. It wants timelines. It wants guarantees. But transformation rarely comes with clarity at first. It comes with confusion, surrender, and discomfort. You might notice that people pull away or misunderstand you. Not because you changed for the worse, but because you no longer play the role they were used to. When you stop abandoning yourself, others feel the shift before they understand it. This is also when old wounds resurface. Fear, doubt, shame, and past failures come back into your awareness. Not to hurt you, but to be released. What you don't heal, you carry forward. Life brings it up now because it cannot follow you into the next chapter. Everything falling apart is not a sign to retreat. It's a sign to stay present. The reason this phase hurts so deeply is because you're standing between identities. The old self is dissolving, and the new one hasn't fully formed yet. This in-between space feels lonely, unstable, and frightening, but it's also sacred. Most people turn back here. They rebuild the same life, choose the same patterns, and call it stability. But you're here because your soul refuses to repeat what it has already outgrown. This breakdown is not the end. It's the clearing. And once enough space is created, something new, something more aligned, begins to emerge quietly. The in-between phase is the most misunderstood part of transformation. Nothing feels stable, yet nothing is fully gone. You're no longer who you were, but you don't know who you're becoming. This is where most people panic and rush to recreate the past, simply because it feels familiar. But this phase is not meant to be fixed. It's meant to be honored. Right now, your only real responsibility is to pause. Not quit, not force clarity. Just pause long enough to listen. When life strips away distractions, it's asking you to turn inward. Silence becomes uncomfortable because it exposes truth. You may feel unmotivated, detached, or emotionally flat. That's not laziness. It's your nervous system recalibrating after years of operating in survival mode. Growth requires rest. Not the kind that numbs you, but the kind that restores you. This is also the phase where boundaries become essential. Old obligations will try to pull you back. People may question your distance. Opportunities that no longer align will tempt you with familiarity. This is where discernment matters more than action. Ask yourself simple questions. Does this drain me or expand me? Am I choosing this out of fear or alignment? Is this who I was or who I'm becoming? You're not meant to make massive decisions yet. You're meant to observe patterns without reacting to them, to notice what feels heavy and what feels light, to stop explaining yourself to people who cannot hear you yet. This phase is teaching you self-trust. Not the loud kind, the quiet kind that doesn't need validation. When you don't rush to fill the void, you allow clarity to form naturally. Another truth most people miss: discomfort here is not danger. It's unfamiliar safety. Your soul recognizes this space, even if your mind doesn't. The in-between phase strengthens you by removing your dependence on external certainty. You learn to stand without answers, to breathe without direction, to exist without proving. And once you stop resisting this space, it begins to soften. Because this phase is not empty, it's gestational. Something is forming beneath the surface, and it needs stillness to grow. Even though this phase feels unstable, there are subtle signs that your transformation is underway, signs that the universe is guiding you toward your next level. The challenge is that they're often easy to miss when fear or impatience takes over. One of the first signs is a heightened awareness of patterns. You start noticing the same people, habits, or situations repeating, not as coincidences, but as lessons you're ready to release. You feel more sensitive to energy around you, and old triggers start surfacing so you can finally confront them. Another sign is inner restlessness paired with clarity. Even if nothing in your external life has changed, you feel an undeniable pull towards something bigger. It may feel like dissatisfaction at first, but it's actually your soul nudging you forward. Opportunities appear, doors open, but your intuition tells you which ones to step through and which to leave behind. You'll also notice emotional purges. Tears, anger, or moments of unexpected sadness may surface. These aren't regressions. They are the residue of your old self releasing. Each wave you allow without resistance creates space for strength, courage, and alignment. Another clear signal is detachment from what no longer serves you. You'll feel less compelled to seek validation, more willing to let go of toxic relationships, habits, and expectations. Things that once felt necessary suddenly feel heavy or irrelevant. This detachment is not loneliness, it's liberation. You may also feel new energy and inspiration. Small bursts of creativity, sudden motivation to explore passions, or unexplained excitement for the future are signs that your higher self is stepping forward. These moments indicate that your internal shift is beginning to manifest externally. Finally, synchrony and alignment start appearing in subtle ways. People, situations, or resources you need show up exactly when you need them. It may feel coincidental, but it's a reflection of your vibration catching up with your evolution. Even if it feels like chaos now, these signs reveal that your transformation is not just possible. It's already happening. Your old self is being stripped away, and the version of you that's aligned with your purpose is quietly emerging. If you've been feeling overwhelmed, restless, or like life is falling apart, know this: it's not random. Your old self is being stripped away so the person you're meant to become can finally emerge. Every moment of discomfort, every challenge, every loss is part of a sacred shift. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Trust the universe. Your breakthrough is already underway, even if it feels hidden. If this message resonated, subscribe to Solace Within and stay connected. Your evolution is happening now, and your higher self is guiding you every step of the way.